calm mind sees a challenge clearly. A frightened mind only sees its size. That distinction sits at the center of what Nichiren actually wrote to his followers, most of whom were facing arrest, land confiscation, or worse for practicing with him. His letters are not abstract meditations on fear. They are addressed to specific people in specific danger, and they keep returning to the same practical point. Panic distorts judgment, and judgment is what survival and practice both require. In the letter from Sato, written during his exile on that island after narrowly escaping execution, Nichiren tells his scattered and frightened followers that hardship directed at a practitioner of the Lotus Sutra should be read against the sutra's own predictions of persecution, not treated as proof that the practice has failed. He is not telling them the danger is imaginary. He is telling them that how they interpret the danger determines whether they act with purpose or simply react. A believer convinced that suffering means abandonment will scatter. A believer who understands the same suffering as something the sutra itself foretold can stay steady and keep functioning. This is where chanting does its work, in Nichiren's own account of it. In his letter of encouragement to Shijo Kingo, before a confrontation with a hostile lord, he does not promise that reciting the Daimoku will dissolve the opposing forces. He tells Kingo to chant and to approach the meeting without cowardice, framing the practice as what steadies a person enough to act clearly under threat, rather than as a device that removes the threat itself. That's a narrower claim than it's often made out to be, and it's worth stating plainly. Nichiren's letters describe chanting as changing the practitioner's capacity to face circumstances, not as a guarantee that circumstances will change on command. That narrower claim is also the more testable one, and Nichiren supplied his own test. Across his writings, he distinguishes three kinds of proof for a teaching: documentary proof, meaning consistency with scripture; theoretical proof, meaning internal coherence; and actual proof, meaning what actually happens in a person's life when they practice. He is explicit that actual proof outranks the other two. A teaching that sounds correct on paper, but produces no visible change in how a person meets their circumstances, has not met his own standard, whatever its doctrinal pedigree. So the honest version of the claim in the opening line is this: chanting, as Nichiren describes it, is a method for interrupting the loop where fear inflates a problem past what it actually is, so that a person can see the problem's real size and respond to it rather than to their own alarm. That's a modest claim, and it's a falsifiable one. It doesn't ask to be taken on faith. By Nichiren's own measure, it stands or falls on whether it shows up as observable proof in an ordinary practitioner's ordinary day, not on whether it sounds convincing in an article.